Maybe we could just sing instead of
Yeah,
you.
that's all right, everybody. Thanks for joining us. We're going to get started here in just a second. I see a few folks filtering in. So thanks everybody for joining us. Since it's the top of the hour, I'm just going to go ahead and get started. My name is Sammy Focarino. I'm the Senior Manager of Events and Partnerships here at Consensus, and I'm going to be the moderator for today's session. This webinar is presented by Consensus. Consensus is leading the world into the new era of demo automation with the first product experience platform. We help you get your buyers what they need when they need it. Our platform then multiplies your revenue team's impact with unique insights on those buyers. As a result, you'll see rapid revenue growth and give your buyers a world-class customer experience. You can learn more at goconsensus.com. We are so excited to be bringing our largest event, DemoFest, on the road again as DemoFest X next month and in November. We have London happening October 8th and New York City happening November 4th. I will post the link to register to those events in the chat here if you want to join us. We encourage you to participate in today's webinar. Our speakers will answer any questions at the close of the session, but you're welcome to post your questions at any time through the Q&A box. If you have any time that you need technical difficulties, press the help button on the right side of your screen. And now I'd like to introduce our speakers. We have some heavy hitters from Consensus today here to discuss how we are moving into the new era of demo automation with the first ever product experience platform. Brian Zurcher is the Director of Product. Rex Galbraith is the Chief Revenue Officer, and Colin Smith joins us from ReachSuite as our new Head of Product Live. I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen, and I'm just going to jump right in. As a reminder, everybody, if you have questions at any time, go ahead and post them in the chat. We're going to get started just asking our panelists some questions that we have that we think you might be interested in, but again, we'll jump into your questions at any time. Okay, question to you, Colin. What made you decide to partner with Consensus and join the company as part of the acquisition?
First off, thanks for having us, Sammy. It's a pleasure to finally be at this event. I think it was planned a few weeks ago, and it's just I've been waiting for this day since we announced the acquisition. Be on the stage with all y'all really means a lot to me. But when we think about, any kind of acquisition, any kind of partnership, really, I think in life and in business, the fundamental, I think, just the foundation comes down to your values and your vision. And I shared a story in one of the videos that we posted when we announced the acquisition about being on a Zoom call just like this with Doug Johnson and Mike Triunfo, the CEO and CPTO over at Consensus. And they asked, what's the vision for ReachSuite? And I think at that point, we're just chatting as potential partners, not even as a potential acquirer. And I shared the exact vision statement that by 2035, 90% of business software transactions will use ReachSuite. And they both looked at each other and were like, what the heck? Like, did someone tip him off about like what our vision is? And it was a really freaky moment. It was a real moment. I remember it. It was the day of the Super Bowl parade. It very specifically stands in my mind. And I think that was the indication to both Doug and I that there's a there, that there might be an opportunity for us to, partner in a deeper way because of how aligned we were. So that's the first thing. Again, I think that goes beyond business. Shared values, shared vision, is the perfect foundation. And then from there, the second thing that became really, I think, weighted a lot in our decision was the culture fit. I know that, a lot of companies do quarterly employee satisfaction reviews and surveys. And I believe last quarter, the Consensus team, they shared with me the result, like high level, not, specifically, but that they had a 99% consensus would like to 99% of Consensus employees would like to work here in a year from now. And we threw like a pizza ice cream party at one of my former companies when we hit 94%. Because 94% is stellar. Like that's a big deal to have 94% of people say they want to work here in a year, but 99% is unheard of. And that's where I thought, oh my gosh, not only are we joining for great strategic and market reasons, this will be a good home for my team that we've spent a lot of time together to join. And then lastly, distribution channel, right? Just being able to join the team that has landed the biggest logos in software. I mean, Rex, BZ, you all, I think, both been here over 9 years, and you all have been. I mean, it's pretty remarkable landing Salesforce and Workday and Oracle and so many of these amazing players that I hope that they also see the benefit and value of Reach Suite.
I love it. Thank you for sharing. All right, question for Rex. In the announcement, you said that Consensus wants to become the first product experience platform. How do you define that, and how is that different than what you've done in demo automation?
Yeah, the way that I think about this in short, because I like to think about things in headlines, is if demo automation is the caterpillar, then product experience is the butterfly. We are not abandoning demo automation. It is super important. We were the first demo automation player 10 years ago, and it's crazy that we're still here. What we saw is that the need to be multi-threaded, not just in a deal cycle, but to be multi-threaded across the buyer's journey was essential. And words like demo and specifically sticking within one group limited the buyer's ability to have a good experience through their entire journey. Buyers eventually become customers, and customers become evangelists, and we needed a product that would scale with them. And demo automation was a great entry point, but we needed to expand the vision if we really wanted to be an advocate for the buyer. What do we do after the purchase? What do we do after the first expansion or upsell to a new tool? And what do we do when they want to evangelize? And so what product experience allowed us to do is to make demo automation one of the major pillars of our vision, giving people different types of experiences, no matter where they're at in the journey, whether they just purchased it, or they just realized what it was for the first time. And the great thing is that Reach Suite provides another incredible experience that we think is one of the most appealing types of experiences that people are looking for today. So there was a lot of thinking that went into this. We looked at industry experts from Gartner. We talked to our CAB. We talked to our investment partners. This was not an idea that was just concocted for a punchline. It came out of a necessity from customers. And as we validated it with many of the top players in the space, the biggest it has resonated so well. We were almost compelled to make that stance. And we weren't ready to do it until we actually had a solution that could make that promise. And Reach Suite was that piece that really made us a true experience platform where people would have the experience that they were looking for when they were making those complex enterprise purchases.
Can I add just a quick note to that, Sammy? I have some friends, haven't been a founder, some friends who have gone through acquisitions and have sold their companies. It's like typically like a 60, sometimes 90-day process. Rex and I have been talking for a year, and we were in diligence or conversations for like 7 months because we both wanted to make sure that we were making the right decision. And so while I think at certain moments, probably both parties were like, can we speed this up? I think in hindsight, it's 2020. We're both very grateful, and we feel really validated that we spent so much time. I mean, I had founder friends like, what? You've been talking to them since when? But it was all to make the right decision.
I love that. Rex, you were talking about the buyer's journey and how this is just going to aid in that. Where does the Consensus offering fit in the buyer's journey, and where will Reach Suite fit into the buyer's journey?
So our solution today does a really good job at giving people a high level experience. And one of the main conduits is through video and documents. What we learned is that people want to experience the product differently based on their role. There are some people who are operators, and they are the ones that actually will deploy the product. There are people who will make a decision on the product, but may never, ever log in. There may be people who like to get their hands on something, and there's others that they only want to experience it from a conceptual perspective. So the core product, which we call today, which is the on-demand and the touring, have done a great job. We're nearing 500 customers. Maybe we're past that today. They've loved it. But one of the things that they continue to ask is, you guys have evangelized for 10 years that 83%, according to Gartner, of the purchasing process happens outside of the live meetings. If we really wanted to be a 360 solution, what are we doing in live meetings? And we didn't have a great answer to that. And when I met Calm for the first time and I saw what they were doing, I said, this is it. Like, this is, we obviously did some due diligence. I had to go look. We're not one of those buy the first thing that we see. We did a lot of research. Colin knows that as good as anybody. We are very thorough. We went and looked through, and we were not going to settle for anything. We had lots of options, and what we said is, what is going to fit the best? Should we build it? Should we buy it? Should we partner with it? And what we realized is that if we really wanted to make it easy for people, it had to be all together in one. And when we looked around, there was nothing like it. There was no offering like that. There was no one-stop shop where someone could tour a solution, watch an on-demand video, touch the product live. That didn't exist. So the fit for Reach Suite is it allows us to fulfill the vision of the product experience, where we can go beyond our core focus of just in between the meetings, wherever. So anytime there's interest, purchased, post-sale, client success answers and responses, Reach Suite allows us to extend that. And if the trends keep going, we're actually seeing that the demand for live experiences increase in some areas, and in other areas, the on-demand. And what we want to do is, rather than guiding the market, we want to follow the market's lead. A lot of these people who have been selling for a long time, they know what it takes, and buyers know what they want. And so what we've learned is that when we listen to what buyers want, and we sit in their seat and say, what would I really want when I'm experiencing a product? That's what we've been trying to deliver. And Reach Suite was like the clear answer for us. I only wish we would have chatted sooner, because by the time that there's a need, there's some time it takes to deploy it correctly. And one of the things that you guys will see over time, we're known, we've been doing this. Most of our business is very high enterprise in terms of the quality. We don't release anything unless it's GDPR compliant. It meets all security standards, whether that's bank level security, whether that's GDPR standards, or even beyond. We had to make sure that no matter what experience that they had, that nobody would ever need to question if it was safe, and if it wouldn't pass the due diligence process. So we thought we did everything we could. We think we got it, and the demand that we've seen so far has been really, really good. So I imagine you're going to see thousands of people, and maybe when you experience a purchase, you may see Reach Suite and Consensus in the demos. So I meet people randomly. Sometimes they ask me what they do, and they'll say, I've actually seen one of those. And it's really nice coming from a place where, I was here when we just had a few customers, that people actually know who we are now, and they've actually experienced Consensus.
Sammy, if I can jump in with a quick comment here. As I'm seeing Reach Suite be absorbed, I love the fact that, as Rex was mentioning, our main focus is on this buyer's journey of creating an amazing experience for them that enables you as a user of Consensus to gain all of these insights and engagement data to help you make the best decisions. And pulling in Reach Suite into our toolbox allow us to truly cover that entire buying experience. No longer just let's fill in the blanks for the gaps when you're not there, but now we can also grab additional engagement when you are there in those meetings and help you understand even more what you can learn as you're using those different live environments, as well as in the gaps, giving us additional tools to help those that like to learn differently. Some people like to learn by watching the video. Some people like to learn by getting more hands-on. And the more tools and opportunities we give people to engage in a way that's most meaningful for them is only going to provide more and more value to your teams, so that you can truly understand how you can actually consult and help that opportunity grow and become that deal for you.
Awesome.
And
All right.
just me
Yeah.
and Brian are so aligned. We actually wear the same shirt today, so
I
that
love
was
it.
on purpose.
Okay, I think we're all very excited. So, Colin, would you mind giving us a quick demo of Reach Suite's capabilities?
Yeah, absolutely. And like any webinar demo, we're keeping it high level, we're keeping it general. We'd love to spend a little bit more time to go deeper into what's the problem you're looking to solve. I think every AE at Consensus is probably like, I think there's a joke that Colin finds a problem. It's like it's all about solving business problem, because depending on the business problem, there's a different way, there's a different tool set, there's a different solution that we offer to help solve that business problem. So, can everyone see my screen all right?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. And I am in DC, and we're having a thunderstorm right now, so fingers crossed we don't have any connectivity issues. But if I go frozen, I'm sorry, I'm in DC.
Hey, it wouldn't be a good demo if something didn't go wrong.
Don't put that on me right now. So Reach Suite has a few different feature sets that we combine together and that we're really excited to bring to the Consensus family. So when I say Reach Suite interactive product tours or Reach Suite live product simulation, just know I'm using that as a differentiator. We really are one family now. This is all Consensus, and you can see that in the branding that was stood up in 3 days. Shout out to the UI UX team. I didn't know it was possible to move that fast. So the first thing that I want to show, because this is really the master container here that everything lives in, is our demo capabilities. Now, think of a demo as like the parent asset, right? And what lives inside of a demo are intelligent discovery questions, interactive product tours, which are the guided demo experiences, and then sandbox, right? So live product simulations, which is that open world live product simulation that pre-sales leaders have grown to love so much, because they can give one link to 1,000 AEs. The AEs can go in and follow specific guided or specific workflows with a perfect data-rich data set, and not have to worry that they're messing up each other's demo environment or breaking things for each other. So the first thing I like to show, though, is the intelligent discovery question automation. Our head of customer success, Adam, and I went out into the market about a year ago, and we evaluated around 1,000 of our customers' demo experiences. And what we found was there's a correlation between personalization and performance. Now, for all the pre-sales leaders on the conversation on the webinar today, you're like, yeah, duh, your demo is only as good as your discovery. Well, we are gifted that we know that. A lot of folks, this is a newer concept, right? Because overview generic demos have been sometimes the standard in some of the organizations. But now with Reach Suite, we took that personalization equals performance correlation, and we said, it's our job to build a platform that enables our customers to create hyper-personalized demo experiences that can be used for live demos or for self-serve demos, because a lot of customers use Reach Suite on their website for marketing and customer success for FAQs, as well as in the sales process for guiding. But we want to make sure that we enable them to do it in a hyper-personalized way very easily. So what you'll notice here is you're able to just ask a question, and then based on the answers, this is the back end, obviously. I'm going to turn around and show you actually a real example. But based on how the buyer answers the discovery questions, you can send them either to more discovery questions, or you can send them to another discovery question and then to demo experiences, or you can just immediately send them to a demo experience, which is sending them to the perfect place in the product based on who they are and what they care about. Now, if I show a real example of what this would look like, we'll just call this webinar.
By the way, as Colin's pulling this up, hopefully you guys can already see the language that Colin uses is so aligned with the way that Consensus has been talking about the pre-sales industry and demo automation. It was so refreshing when we were, working with them in this acquisition to just see how much alignment there was, how we were focused on that same goal, trying to solve for the same business problems, which just made everything align so well. So sorry, Colin, continue.
Oh man, no, and by the way, please interrupt. Like, I'm just looking at my screen right here and going about my, my flow, but please interrupt with questions. I want this to be interactive. So if you're creating a new demo, name this one webinar, you're likely going to start with a question, right? Maybe not. You don't have to. You can just start and then go directly into a demo experience, right? But if you want to start to customize what the buyer sees, now, of course, you can gate it. And by the way, something that a lot of our customers love is you can gate these demo experiences anywhere in the journey, right? Like a lot of times, incumbents force you to gate at the very beginning or at the end, but maybe you want to gate right before the punchline, right? Like right before, the catalytic event, you may want to throw an email form in because everyone's bought in then. You can certainly do that. So question might be like, hey, we serve a lot of industries. Which represents you? Maybe it's healthcare. Maybe it's SaaS. Maybe it's finance. And based on who you are and what industry you're in, you're probably going to want to tell a little bit of a different demo story. Now, maybe you're like, well, that's just top level. We then want to ask them, what persona are you? Or what problem are you looking to solve today? Maybe it's problem A, maybe it's problem B, maybe it's pipeline, maybe it's new logo win rates, maybe it's some cost, right? And as you're going through, you can just simply clone this question because you want to collect data. And so as buyers are answering these questions, again, maybe it's live because a lot of our customers will use this, I'll show you in a second, in live demos to guide their SDRs to handle qualification calls, to guide their AEs to handle qualification calls, and then to send the buyer to the exact place in the product that is completely relevant and hyper-personalized based on being a healthcare, industry leader who is struggling with pain point A. You want to show them something different than if you're a finance leader who's struggling with pain point B. And that's what the intelligent discovery question automation allows you to do. So what does that look like in a live demo? Right, we have a lot of customers. I mean, shout out Brian Cotter. I think he coined the phrase the reverse demo, the SVP of pre-sales over at Seismic, who want to remove the burden of early demos to pre-sales, from pre-sales, and put them into AEs. Now, again, Reach Suite started as a full revenue platform. From day one, we've been a full revenue platform. From day one, you'll see in our customer success stories, we're used in marketing, we're using sales, we're using pre-sales, we're using customer success. Some people say, Colin, that's a bad thing. That means you're not hyper niching. We found it helps us win deals because everyone gets what they want versus having to, fight over the budget dollars of who gets, one platform versus another. You have to go out and buy a different platform for the other team. But when this is used in the live demo experience, an AE might get on the call, and I'd say 50% of the time they're going to share their screen. They're going to walk through this with the buyer. The other 50% of the team, they're probably doing this behind the scenes and they're just answering the questions. And then they look like the superhero when they jump in, right? And the Reach Suite platform sends them to the right place in the product to demo live. And then they get to remove the burden and lift of where do I go? What do I show? What's the talk track again? Reach Suite takes care of that. Again, this is used live a ton, but it's a simple URL. It can be embedded in an iframe on your website. It can be put as a call to action on your website. It says, try now, get hands-on. It's often used a lot in customer success. We have an amazing customer, Churn Zero, who is the Gartner leader in customer success platforms and customer success training platforms. And they use Reach Suite for a lot of their customer success training. And I think that's an amazing nod to the CS use case. The CS leader, Churn Zero, uses Reach Suite for some CS training. So, right, let's imagine I'm an AE. Mr. Miss Prospect, I think from Crunchbase, we can say you're 16 to 25 million. Is that fair? Yep. Awesome. And I believe you're an HR manager. I think we know that. Yep. Awesome. Of course, these can be different questions. You ask any questions you want. But now, Mr. Miss Prospect, this is really the crux of what I'm wondering today. What problem are you really looking to solve? And then you can dive in deeper. You can go level 2, level 3, level 4. And all this data is being captured and sent back to your CRM, right? As you know, Consensus has the world-class platform. their integrations and how they integrate the data, not only from an architecture perspective, but how they present it is phenomenal. And that's what you're going to be able to enjoy with how you are answering these questions and pushing this back to your CRM. We have demand gen leaders using this data because it's structured, right? Using this data to run retargeting campaigns, running SDR multi-threading campaigns, adding content playbooks, nurture email sequences based on how the buyer's answering. Oh, and I want to solve managing recruitment, right? So jump in. And one thing you're going to love about how Reach Suite works in terms of its interactive product tours is it's built on your real product. It's not a series of screenshots. So when I click templates, you're really feeling how the product works. It is completely interactive. Of course, all of the guides here are provided by Reach Suite, but it allows you to truly guide the buyer on top of your real product, not a series of linear screenshots. Because I was just on a call 30 minutes ago with an organization who is switching from an incumbent and joining the Consensus Reach Suite family of interactive product tours. And one of their main concerns was when we put a buyer on a linear screenshot path, there's these black screen flashes that kind of flash the eye in between the slides, kind of like an old, film. And she said that creates fear, uncertainty, and doubt to our buyers. That does not inspire confidence. If this is oftentimes their first or second touch with our product, this does not inspire confidence. And so we want a solution that when we click a button, we actually see how the product works. And we actually get a sense for the UI, the UX, and how the interactivity works. And that's what the interactive product tours allow you to do. Now, of course, you can add audio, video, GIFs. All of this can be embedded into the callouts. And then we're going to head over here to automations and check this out. Really exciting stuff. So I'll pause there. I want to show you really quick. BZ, should I show them a little bit about how the builder works?
Yeah, I think that'd be great. Yeah, just to see how
Hey, Colin,
quick and
before
easy
you
to
go
throw
in
this
there,
together.
the natural question I get at this point is, this looks great, but how much work does it take? Like, how many developers, how many people do I have to get in? How much prep time would I need to be able to show someone what you just showed us?
Yeah, 0. So what I just showed you is our interactive product tours. It's completely turnkey. There's 0 implementation. It's on-site, right? I mean, we have customers that we stand up. I mean, again, I can't praise our engineering team and our CS team enough. They've built a wonderful platform where we've signed contracts at 10 a.m. in the morning, and we've had our kickoff call at noon, and we've had the first tour, interactive product tour being used in the wild by 5 p.m. We have an amazing G2 review where the customer says, contract signature to ROI story, 30 days. It's all because how fast?
What about for our marketing friends who see this and they don't want it a one-to-one? They want to send this to 500 people and potentially maybe 200 people from 2 different companies. Would it all be the same experience, or would they all get their own unique?
So, I mean, from marketing, geez Louise, if you go to our success stories page, we have a few amazing marketing success stories. We've lived and breathed marketing for the last 2 years, and marketers care about attribution because that's how they say we've done our job. And so there's several ways that you can gate the form. Again, you can email gate it at the beginning, right? You can use smart link tracking so that every time a buyer accesses it, all of the usage data is attributed to their deal contact company record. And you can also use UTM parameters that we've and C names for other attribution. Rex, is that what you're asking?
Exactly. Oh,
Okay.
I have the cheat code. You can explain it to me, but for people who don't know technical like me, what I've learned is this is seconds to set up. I didn't believe it the first time I heard it. The first time I talked to Colin, I'm like, this isn't real. This isn't real. They're showing me something. They're doing something. And as we started seeing it, and even just recently, we had a really big company in Southern and Northern California that wanted to look at this from a client success use case in a really big way. And my mindset was, okay, guys, we have 2 weeks. We got to figure this out. We got to nail it. We got the key executives looking at it. And in 25 minutes, something better than what I wanted was already ready. And really what took the most time was them just getting familiar with how the product works. So they demoed it in the way that the client would demo it. So that was maybe we'll get to this later, but that was one of the non-negotiables for me when we were evaluating solutions, was it couldn't take weeks, it couldn't take months, and sometimes it couldn't take hours. It had to be done in minutes. And what we learned is the reason why it has to be done in minutes is because products change day by day. Use cases change by day. And who knows, maybe the executive last minute says, I want to see the product in this light or this. And also what I love is we hear this saying a lot. It's so easy. A sales rep like me can do it. I don't even need to call anyone. You know, granted, pre-sales will probably do it better than most, but anyone from any level of technical ability could figure this out and have something that looks as good as what you just showed. So it's not Colin who's mastered this. We could train you on this in 20 minutes. You'd probably be as good, maybe better than Colin by the time you got your hands on it.
Yeah, I can't. I'll show you how easy the builder is. I think it's, you know, again, classic all of us in Zoom land. We're on back-to-back meetings. I was on a amazing prospect call literally up to this webinar, and I showed how our builder works, and she was like, "Wait, that's it." And I sometimes it's almost like, should we make it harder? I don't know, because then it's like more substance to it, but it's just so intuitive. So we spent weeks and weeks and weeks mastering, or not mastering, but rather learning about, actually, let me pop this off here. Let me pull up the starting page. We spent weeks kind of learning and following how do builders build, and what does that UI look like, and what does that user experience look like. And so when you start a build, you navigate to your homepage of wherever you want to start. You click Start Builder, and you get a 3-second countdown, and you literally just navigate your product as you naturally would. Obviously, this is a very high level demo experience here. And after you're done navigating, you stop your build, and the Reach Suite Interactive Product Tour will create a one-to-one interactive product tour of what you literally just built in seconds. Now, there's a few things that we are really excited about. First is, when we were studying the market and asking folks about the builder experience and what was amazing and what did they want to improve, one of the biggest things they said was, it's so challenging with incumbents to build and then have to see what that build looks like for the prospect and then go back and forth. BZ, we've spent a lot of time talking about the cognitive load that creates. It's like it would be like the equivalent of like, you have to write, you know, a story, and then you have to have someone read it, and they're like, oh, there's a typo, and you have to rewrite the story, and then there's no instant feedback. So using this toggle button here, you can literally toggle between edit and playback. This is what the buyer sees. This is what the builder, right? And then you just use these arrows right here, and you navigate through. Now, one thing that Reach Suite has done really well, and came from our customer, we didn't come up with this on our own, is auto drop the callouts, auto drop the highlights. When someone clicks on something, register that element and drop the target, so they don't have to. So you don't have to go grab it, resize it, drag it to the location. Of course, if you want to move it around, you certainly can, but we will automatically drop that for you. Now, if you want to add a call out, you can do that here. I might say, hi, Rex, BZ. If you want to brand it, you can handle branding, of course, in your account settings, or you can brand it directly on the demo experience. Save that, make sure it looks good. Yeah, I like the way that looks. Maybe you don't. I'm going to resize it. You can do all that there, and then you can just literally use the arrow to move, call out to call out to call out. Make sure you like the way that your storyline works. Hit playback, right? And then you go to your library, grab the link, embed it on a website, add it to an SDR campaign. use it for your live demos. Another amazing use case that we've seen customers start to use a lot, which I think is really clever, is because our builder is so discreet, you don't even know that you're in builder mode. We have pre-sales leaders who are starting the build, giving the demo, and then stopping the build. The buyer never knows they started and stopped it, unless you saw the little blue, the blue thing on the tab. Other than that, you would never know. And then boom, they say, hey, Mr. Miss Prospect, let me just send you what I walked through. And they just drop the link in the chat. And it is an instant one-to-one version of the demo they just walked through in an interactive product tour. Now, last product that I do want to make sure we cover really quickly is our live product simulation. This is, I would say, my personal baby. It's a different use case though. It solves a different problem, right?
It's my favorite.
Yeah, it's so technologically advanced, and it's special. The problem that live product simulation solves, it's a little bit different than interactive product tours, is you have AEs across the globe who are running into each other, messing up each other's data. You just want one perfect snapshot of the data set, right? You want one snapshot of the data set in its perfect state, where next week the data is not falling off the screen because of, timestamp data hygiene issues. You don't want people running into each other. You want everyone to be able to access one link that's standardized. And then lastly, pull this up here. And then lastly, if you want to, of course, edit the data to be verticalized, or you want to change kind of the way the data looks, you can do that here. So here's another great example of our live product simulation. Unlike the, by the way, you're not on White Swan. You're literally using Reach Suite. You wouldn't know that. We have to put a banner down here because we had too many customers say we want them to at least know that they're using a third-party technology. It just feels weird to drop them in, but no one would really ever know it. Every once in a while, you may try and do something that if the buyer has decided they don't want to let you to do something, they'll drop what's called a guardrail. Just a little call out that comes across says, not broken, you've reached the bounds of this demo experience, right? So they can customize that. But this is totally powered by Reach Suite. It's a live product simulation. It's literally a one-to-one clone of your sandbox that you can give to 100 reps and have them customize. If they want to change the text to be healthcare versus manufacturing, they can do all of that here. So again, very high level. There's a lot more to dive into, especially based on the buyer's interests and what problem they're looking to solve.
And Colin, to spin one of those up, it only takes a few days or weeks, right?
Yeah, so that does have a technical implementation. I know our engineering team is like, please, Colin, don't oversell this. And I do not want to oversell this. There is a technical implementation. We have a 5-day SLA. But once you spin one up, you can clone it 1,000,000 times, right? So you can spin one up. You have one master tenant. You can clone that, make that the healthcare tenant, clone that one, make that the manufacturing tenant. So it's not like every single link has a 5-day implementation. You just have to do it that one time.
So just to be clear, because this was one thing that when we were chatting about it, I think for a lot of people, 5 days is something that they've experienced, whether they outsource it or they have to ask and they have to wait for the demo to spin up. The thing that was amazing to me is once you get it set up once, you could have 100 reps simply just start it and create a separate template of it. And you could change the guardrails, you could do whatever you want, but it's minutes. It's literally minutes. Like you could have a demo in a few hours. So I don't know if you guys have ever experienced this. I never have, but I've never told a pre-sales person in 30 minutes they had a demo. I always gave them proper time, which is a lie. But in those moments, you have the ability to literally clone something, create the simulation and put it together in the way that is best for the client. And sometimes I'll see it, if you didn't have that banner, you wouldn't know it's a simulation. You would think it was real. And so the key here on the non-negotiables was speed. It had to be quick. When we were looking and we even tried to talk about scoping out building something ourselves, everything that we saw was like this would take months to set up, and then to run a simulation of it could take hours or days. When we saw this took minutes, it got us really excited, because that's what people kept asking us for is, yeah, I can spin up an environment. I just have to wait. I have to wait. I have to go outsource it. I have to go ask somebody. This just saves a ton of time, so you can spend more time talking about value, driving discovery, and less time doing setup. So if your setup normally takes 2 or 3 hours and you're doing 10 demos, this consolidated into minutes, and saves a ton of time. And not only that, this is the one thing that was unique that we saw to Reach Suite was you can give them the link to that experience and let them experience it on their own time. You don't have to, we are literally handing them the simulation and saying, go play around, go check it out, and we'll be tracking their engagement as they do it. So just to be clear, there's the two products. You got the interactive product tours, which enhances, takes what our tours were to a whole new level, and that is something that will be included with the license we have. And then Live Simulations is a new product on top of that allows you to take it even further, the shareable link, and let people kind of free open world experience your product. So fulfilling that vision of an on-demand video, a tour, and a live simulation, all in one space, one vendor. That's what got us really excited, is now that we're finally be able to fulfill that mission for our customers.
Love it. I think one of the biggest questions a lot of our customers probably have is for Brian on what is the timeline for a full product integration between these two very exciting platforms?
Yeah, Brian.
Yeah,
when?
that is a great question. I wish I had more of a concrete answer at this point. There's a lot of work that our teams are doing, working with, the Reach Suite solutions, the Consensus solutions, to understand how they connect properly. As Rex mentioned, the first thing we want to do is make sure that our current users can get access to the interactive product tours from that Reach Suite side as easy as possible. So that's the first step we're trying to take, is just make it easy for you to access both of those different solutions so that you can determine, based on the use case, which one's going to make more sense, or using both within the scope of that flow that you want to be able to build for your users. So that's step one, is making sure that this doesn't seem like some siloed element that's difficult to get to. We're working to make sure you can jump back and forth and take advantage of both of those solutions to as much degree as possible. After that, we're really starting to make sure, as Colin mentioned, Consensus has worked so hard over the years to track and drive the engagement so that we can provide our users with as many powerful insights as possible. Bringing in Reach Suite just adds this whole new level of engagement that we simply didn't have before. One of the first things we're looking at is pulling that engagement that Reach Suite is now tracking through that live solution, through their integrated product tours, and being able to combine those with the Consensus data points that we're capturing to create a clearer, more holistic view, regardless of which type of tours, or if you're using the live or the on-demand video. Being able to pull all of those into a single data view, or into that API, so you can pull that into your system, get that singular view of all the elements happening in that buyer's journey, to allow you to make those more informed decisions, make those tweaks inside of the demos to make them even more powerful, or those tweaks inside of your flow so that you have that higher probability of reaching that closed one. That's that next area that we really want to understand. After that, as you can see, Colin highlighted some of the amazing things you can do with their interactive product tours. Consensus has their version of tours as well. We're starting to look at how we take the best of both worlds to be able to create a combined sort of experience that lets you go beyond what we can do with our tours, go beyond what Reach Suite has currently with their tours, and learning from each other and understanding what's worked so well in this space and what's worked so well in that space, to be able to pull the power of both of those together to allow you to create these incredibly unique, powerful experiences for your buyers. In the end, that's ultimately what our goal is, right? Is to provide you an opportunity to create these really powerful experiences that are truly engaging for your buyers, because that's what draws them in. That's what helps you gain those insights into what they're interested in, going through some of that branching personalization that Colin was showing, going into the live environment, going into the on-demand, going into the tours experience. And the more that we can pull those pieces together and allow you to create a unique flow for each of those stakeholders in the buying group, the more value that we can provide you. Ultimately, that's our goal, right? How can we provide your buyers more value so that you're gaining more value from using Consensus as a tool? So I know that's super high level, but hopefully at least gives you some ideas of what the teams are already starting to dig into. And as we start to learn more and more and start to set some goals and timelines, we'll make sure to keep people informed about what they can be expecting from us.
Thanks,
Yeah,
Brian.
and stay tuned. Like if you're a customer, we will be sending out communication on this. You can talk to your CSM. We'll be posting on our website. We have all hands on deck pushing. We have a lot of customers wanting this, and Brian knows that he has too many of the people on the sales team have his phone number, so he gets calls a
Yeah.
lot. There's a lot of demand. We cannot wait to get this all consolidated and put the best of both worlds together. But even with that today, because of our ability to drive hyperlinks and other things in the core product today, you could start with an automated video demo and go right to a live simulation, or you could go right to an interactive product tour. The difference that will happen once this is done is it will feel completely seamless. Today we've kind of updated the branding a little bit, but in short order, it will feel seamless. And with all the other things that are coming down the road, like our multi-demo support and AI, which is right on the horizon, you're going to see all of this together, where we can really fulfill the mission and the vision of a product experience platform. Because while we can check the box today, we are far from where we want this to go. You will see more experiences coming. You'll see more ways to interact. And frankly, we have it on a board somewhere, but most of our best ideas come from customers. So if you want to provide free ideas and thoughts and communicate with us, please reach out. Let us know where the deficiencies are. We are maniacally trying to stay ahead of where the market is going, and we're listening to the analysts, and there's a lot of things coming. So as exciting as it is today, there are so many more things you're going to be seeing released, even just this year.
Awesome.
I'm
Colin,
right, Brian? I can say that, right?
I think you're good there. Yeah,
No hand
absolutely.
slaps after this. I didn't overpromise.
Colin, you touched on this a little bit, talking about some of the impact on your customers and some case studies you have. I'm wondering if you have any specific examples of the ways that interactive product tours and live product simulations have made a direct impact on your customers.
Oh yeah, I feel really grateful. I think the team has worked really closely with our customers to anchor to a KPI in the sales process, pass that to the CS team, and then maniacally focus on moving that KPI. And so in only 2 years, we have published, I think, 6 or 7 customer success ROI stories across the full funnel. So one thing that is a little different, I think, about how I approached Reach Suite versus how other founders approach building companies is I wanted it to be full revenue. I wanted marketers, sales, pre-sales, post-sales, customer success to use Reach Suite. And if you look at our customer base, 100% of our customers use us in 2 of those 3 places or 4 places. And I would say roughly 30 to 50% use us in all 4 of those places. So we are penetrated across the board. And if you look at our success stories, we've got some amazing marketing, top of funnel ROI stories from Ambition and our friends over at Seismic about how we've impacted pipeline, MQLs, and more importantly, the win rates of the pipeline coming in from the attributed links to Reach Suite. If you look at from a sales perspective, Churn Zero was one of our early adopters. They've implemented Reach Suite across their entire sales process in commercial, mid-market and enterprise to automate a lot of the redundant interactive demos and as well as the POC process. And they've seen a significant reduction, 20%, I believe, a little bit more in time to close, which was roughly a few weeks cut off their sales process length, as well as an increase in win rates. And then over in customer success, we have a very large enterprise HR technology company that used us for all of their customer success training, FAQs, et cetera. And they saw a 50% reduction in CS tickets immediately correlated after implementing Reach Suite for all of their CS training. So I think we've not only have we seen some great success stories, but I'm very excited about having them all the way across the funnel.
Awesome. On the same topic of customers, maybe Rex, you can talk to this. What validation have we received on the Consensus side from the addition of the Reach Suite to our platform?
We did a lot of due diligence. We asked our CAB, we asked the analysts, we asked mentors. Are we making the right decision here? And while we felt really good, you don't really know until you start talking to the customer. So when we announced on September 3rd, we were getting texts left and right. It felt like we shared this good news, and it was just the most immediate validation. You go through all of the due diligence, getting all of the paperwork, all the legal side of what it takes to do this, get marketing lined up. It was so refreshing to hear where people could connect. They were finishing our sentences. I could say things and they said, I get it, and this is a perfect fit. And the applications for our open roles skyrocketed. And people were saying, I love this. I want to be a part of this. I get where you're going. You're finally answering the questions that we wanted and innovating the way. So we got a lot of validation very quickly. And from all different sizes, from SMB clients to mid-market, and then even our most, some of these big companies, some of the biggest companies in the world, starting, I could see their wheels spinning. Like they were talking about, can this be used in client success? And how would this be done in marketing? And have you ever thought about using it this way? And, I would like to say, I would have thought of all these ideas. Ideas started coming, and it added to Brian's workload. The roadmap grew, and all of these things of where it could go. We thought we had a handle of what this could do for us. As always, the customers had a bigger vision. And so now we have a bigger target. We have more to do, but I feel completely validated from analyst to customer to advisory board. They've all jumped in, and now it's just time to execute. We've shown the vision. Everyone's more than welcome to take a look at it. No pressure. And, that's what we're about, is giving people the ability to experience a product on their own time. And based on what we're seeing in the interest level, it is going as planned, probably even better.
Awesome. Brian, on that note, what is the vision currently for the future of demo automation as we are incorporating Reach Suite's offering into the Consensus product?
Yeah, that's a great question. Rex kind of hinted at this earlier, but Reach Suite continues to add to our tool belt this amazing opportunity to cover that entire buying journey, right? And create these unique product experiences along the way for those buyers to engage with and learn about the product and be able to make the right decision for themselves. Our goal as we build this out is to continue to understand and drive more and more experiences that help enable the buyer while providing the sellers those unique, actionable insights that you simply can't get anywhere else. Ultimately, the more experiences that we can drive and we can help track for our sellers, the more insights we can give them to help them increase that probability of closing those deals, of understanding who their stakeholders are and how each of those individual stakeholders are typically engaging with different assets. Maybe we find that this stakeholder typically engages with this type of tour or this type of on-demand thing or this live element, and we can start to help them build highly curated flows that align perfectly well with the way that their stakeholders, the members of that buying group, need to make that purchase decision. And that's going to be unique for every organization that we work with, depending on who's part of that buying group. The more product experiences that we can drive and the more that we can capture from each individual member of that buying group, and the more that we can pull that back and start to take advantage of some of the amazing AI power that we're seeing in the market right now and infuse that inside of Consensus, so that all of these new tools that we have in the tool belt, we can pull the insights from that and allow AI to help guide our buyers and guide our sellers into the next best actions, how to improve that sales flow, that playbook, how to go through that experience in the most meaningful way, being guided the whole way. That's where we really see this going, is creating that single buyer's journey experience that can adapt to each individual stakeholder throughout the whole process, whether that's them engaging at a very early stage in marketing, all the way through that client success and onboarding and expansion, and understanding all along the way how we can help our sellers, those marketers, the AEs, the pre-sales team, the CS, the support reps, all of those different team members that undergird that selling process, that selling flow, understand how they can best enable their buyers and their clients in order to make it a seamless experience for the buyers and a really insightful experience for the sellers to know how that they can get the most out of the tool system that they're using.
Brian, what you said, your vision of this, I've always been envious of how easy Amazon makes it for consumers to buy. The other day, my daughter said to me, "The Amazon guy didn't come today." Like if the guy doesn't come, she's like disappointed. It's as dependable as the sun rising that we're going to get something on the door, and it's because it's so easy. They've created so many experiences, whether it's one-touch buying or reoccurring, or pay a little more, get it faster. All of those things, are making recommendations. And, for all those people that know security, like, I feel like whatever I talk about, Amazon has it on their screen the next time I pull it up. Mm-hmm. And we want to do what Amazon did for B2C. We want to do to B2B. We want to make it so easy that if somebody wants to experience something, that it's there, how they want to see it. And that's where the vision will go. Will it change over time based on what we see in market conditions? 100%. We will continue to adapt. But this is what we're seeing. This is what the experts are saying. This is where people are voting with their dollars and putting it towards. It's exciting to me that we're getting closer to that vision of providing a full 360 experience. But there's some complexities that you don't have in B2C. Like, most of the time it's one person, my daughter, who's 8, could probably jump on an Amazon app and buy something, where in a complex enterprise situation, you have to get the CFO on board. You got to get procurement. You got to get security. They all need their own unique experience because some won't resonate for others. And so the vision will be is the right experience, the right content at the right time. And today, there is nothing that has the 3 things that we have, and that is on-demand video, interactive product tours, and live simulations, all in one. And that is exciting because it helps us fulfill that mission. This is taking demo automation to the next level. We are automating. We're doing more than automating, and we're doing more than demos. But we have not lost our focus. We are still focused on pre-sales. We're still focused on sales, marketing. Anyone who touches the buyer, that is where we will be. So any group that has any involvement with buying or customers, Consensus will be there to help.
Yeah, that's great. B2B sales is so complex. It's so difficult, right? Buyers don't actually know what they're supposed to be doing in the journey. And on average, analysts are saying there's 10 or 12 of them involved in that buying group. Our goal is to take that complexity, that difficulty, that slowness, and just to make it easy for them, which allows it to be fast, simple, and intuitive. And the more that we can do that, the more that it benefits the buyer and just enjoying the actual process. People enjoy going on Amazon. Our goal is to make it so that they enjoy buying B2B software, that it feels like that same experience for all of those 10, 12 members of the buying group. And this new tool set of what we have with Reach Suite, of what Consensus Core has, brings us in that first big step towards accomplishing that.
And I think wrapping up with what's in it for me, you know, if making the buying experience pleasant reduced win rates and elongated time to close, we wouldn't have a market here. But it improves win rates and reduces time to close and helps sellers touch more deals in a week than having to rely on doing everything live, which the buyer's not going to do anyways. So how do you close a deal if you don't know the deal is there? So that's the net.
Awesome. Well, we are just nearing the top of the hour here. Thank you, Rex, Brian, and Colin, so much for sharing so much with us. Thank you for the demo. If you guys are interested in learning more or asking us any questions, like they said, you can reach out to your CSM. You could reach us through the website. You can watch an automated demo. We'd love to chat with you and tell you a little bit more. But thanks, everybody, for joining us, and we hope to see you soon. Thanks.